might hear me on the radio. Breaker 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Actually, we're not here at Farpoint Farms. I'm on vacation, and of course, if I go on vacation, I am bringing a radio with me. Today, I've got the XH Data D808 is the model. So I did a review of like the 819 or something like that. It's very, 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 very similar to this, except it doesn't have sideband capabilities. To be honest with you, for the average user, sideband is pretty much not something they would need. But if you're into radios like I am, it is nice to have that so you can listen to ham radio. Now, I've done a separate review on this radio, or I will, but I'm just blown away by the performance of this thing. And on the last one I did, there were some people who said, I heard it was a bad radio. I heard it didn't have this or it didn't have that. And I kind of argued with them back and forth, which I rarely do with YouTubers, but it turns out those people didn't even own one of these radios, so they had no idea what they were talking about. I've got this thing charged, and I've got just the standard wire that comes with it, long wire and antenna that comes with it. It's about, well, how do you think that is? About 8 feet long, maybe, at most. But I'm going to turn it on here. I'm not even sure where it's at. I think we were listening to AM for dinner.
Committed to helping our clients achieve their goals.
Learn more.
And I'm going to start with AM. I'm not even going to do FM, but I'll roll back down here to the bottom of the AM band. This is crazy. We're hundreds of miles away. How many hundred miles are we at from?
200 miles.
200 miles?
Rewriting it is another story. Constitutional attorney Will Cooper telling News Channel 8.
And we've been listening to
Superintendent, if approved next Thursday by the school
this
board,
channel
July
here.
3rd will be Superintendent Dr. Peter Licata's first day of a 3-year, $360,000. Finally, Rob, there's it. David All.
The AM reception is just incredible. And of course, this is right after dark, so we are getting some clear channel skip coming in. Those clear channels are starting to pop through. But let me roll back up to. And I can't leave it on any music for very long. 850 also coming in very clear.
Of the 2023 Hockey Hall of Fame inductees.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to shortwave because I know that's what you want to listen to here. And I'm going to start. Yeah, I was listening to my favorite radio show host there earlier today. But let me go through, and I'll start at the very bottom. This time of night, most everybody's broadcasting at a higher frequency, but I'll go ahead and press up. This thing has a nice scan function. It goes through and finds strong signals, and I've been just so floored. We've been on this trip now almost a week, and it's just incredible how many stations this thing's picking up, and from how far away. So, you would expect WRMI, which is probably the closest shortwave to this, to come in, and it does, but the stations that are in, in the middle of the U.S., up in WBCQ up there in Maine, which has got to be 4,000 or 5,000 miles from here at this point, we're getting, incredible signals from them as well. So,
you cannot get any more Jesus than you already have.
4840, I actually don't even have a phone with me on this trip. My wife brought hers. She's using it to record this. So I don't know what any of these stations are, but we'll just roll up through. This is going to be a band scan for you. I know you guys enjoy these. I enjoy it. And this trip, I've just gotten so many languages: Russian, French, Chinese, just so much stuff. So there's 5010. 5025. $50.50, better change the channel. That's actually a copyrighted song. And I love how the band scan skips over ham bands. It goes. 5800. I mean, and this is gonna take a few. That's 5850. Now, I don't know. That's not WTWW anymore, or it might be that's the call sign, but it's not run by Ted anymore. So, but it's there. That's middle of Tennessee. We've got to be 1500 maybe.
Pointed over there, so don't blame me if it happens.
5935.
Over from maybe
you know, something stupid.
Oh yeah, that's Gene Scott's wife.
But the person who commits the crime.
And I listened to Eugene Scott on Shortwave a long time.
What I've been saying is right is wrong and wrong is right.
Clock in the New York City metro area.
5950. I know this guy. I won't say his name out loud because he's one of the, I'd say he's the second most banned. He's also the only radio show host that I know of to actually serve time in jail for his opinions.
Because it's a GMC Sierra 3500 AT4.
6,000? There should be Cuba radio.
Entitled Lethal Racism alleges the government actions that constitute institutions in some cases. Amnesty International calls for the Peruvian Attorney General's office to investigate.
This is Radio Free China. This is the Chinese news in English on Cuban radio. And I'll be honest with you, you know, you get a lot of news in America, but you don't get this kind of news. You don't get it from this angle. While I have no, you know, good or bad feelings about the Chinese, it is very interesting, and it's one of the things I've talked about as far as censorship and freedom of speech in this country, to be able to hear other opinions freely, which is something that gets harder and harder to do online here in the United States every day.
En vez de abrir definitivamente las posibilidades que tiene
6030, not sure what station these are, but it's an English station, but it's at the fringe. Are you able to see the reading? Yeah. A lot of South American stations coming in here. And then it'll roll up through. It changes. Anytime you hear it beep. So there's a sideband conversation. So not in English, but there's a sideband conversation on the handbands. Switch back to AM here. Trying to keep the focus of this particular video on just regular shortwave, but I figured you guys might want to hear the sideband capabilities of this. It's there. And I think it actually works okay. I think the fine tuning is a little bit wonky. It takes some time to get a station dialed in, but so can't really play music, but that's 7305. A lot of stations. A lot of South American stations at this location. At least I assume they are. I don't speak Spanish, so if you do speak Spanish and you want to chime in on anything you heard there, I'd love to hear it in the comments below.
The top of the Empire State Building.
All right, so that's WBCQ 7490. That's Moncello, Maine. That has to be 3,000 miles. No, it's got to be more than that. 3,500 miles, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
3,500 miles with a 10-foot long wire antenna. This radio, you know, and I knew it was a great radio, which is why I got rid of the other one I had, and this has become my travel radio. This thing is like a hidden gem. I hadn't really... Incredible. I like that guy, by the way. He's on 2 stations at the same time. Like, people who say there's nothing on shortwave. Now, granted, like, you know, if you're bilingual or trilingual or quadlingual or whatever, you got to have a better time. I got a buddy who can speak 7 languages. Remember Assad? Mm-hmm. That dude was incredible. And he learned another one. He learned how to speak Russian. But, you know, for somebody like that, he could listen to all this stuff. 93.95. I believe that's Ted Randall's new home, WRMI, but I'm not positive on that one. 94.90. It's just incredible. And of course, We're so far south that we're picking up a lot of South American stations, but $95.50 that was. It sounded like modern music.
And also issue an order prohibiting certain sects convicted from engaging in certain professions or jobs which give them advantage of committing such sex crimes.
I'm
Number 4,
fairly positive 95.80. That, I mean, that's Chinese or
of sex crime.
might be more Radio China.
Criminal
Could be
victims
North Korean
of crime
shortwave, although I don't know that I haven't picked up North Korean shortwave in ages.
criminal offenders in the criminal procedure. Pursuing their criminal liability.
But that is in
However,
English.
the scope of civil compensation is very much limited to physical damages. According to the interpretation now, the young sex crime victims are allowed to apply or allowed to claim not only for physical damages, but also for their mental damages
Interesting.
from the sex offender.
50, 95, 90. I'm not sure what station. A lot of these I just don't know without being able to go on shortwaveinfo.com and figure out what it is I'm picking up.
25 copilași care se ocupă. Avem 3 starostate din satele noastre, primăria centrală, etc.
And we're not even in the higher end of the band yet. It's incredible how many stations are picking up here. And it's a fairly remote area, so there's not a lot of like interference, but we do have lights on. They are LED lights, and there's a refrigerator running and an air conditioner running, so there is some background, static or noise or whatever you want to say. Some kind of a news program.
Mas o próprio Fluminense prefere a falta, uma falta perigosa para Flusão.
Yeah, so I mean, anybody that thinks that shortwave is dead, if you're gonna base it solely off of U.S. stations, yeah, they're getting to be a little bit rare. If you're going to base it off of English transmissions, I mean, how many have we counted so far that were in English? Had to be 10 at least. If you're bilingual, I mean, you've pretty much got nearly all the spectrum covered, although I did pick up a lot of Russian and Chinese or Asian conversations last night. That was a little later on in the evening. Right now it's 9 o'clock, 9:15. I'm picking up some satellite stuff there. I'm having a hard time picking that one up. 13,645. Actually, it'd be nice if somebody here can go back through and knowing that it's 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, figure out what some of these stations were and post it in the comments section. Now we're getting up there where there's going to be less and less stations this high up this late at night, but there'll still be a few. I think I picked up 1 or 2. 15,710 or 770.
Tanto los derechos que hemos conseguido las mujeres, ¿no?
17,715. Yeah, honestly, I'm super impressed with the shortwave reception of this radio, but I'm also really impressed during daytime use on the AM reception. We've been able to clearly hear the news every day from 200 miles away. I don't have to do some research on 850 and 610 down in Florida to see if those are clear channels or what kind of wattage they're putting out. But both of them, other than days that we've had pretty bad storms here, have been pretty impressive. That reception all night. So Yeah, this is probably going to be the end of it here. We're at 25.8, and we'll let it run around until it hits start again, but then we'll wrap this video up. The XH Data D808 is the type of radio this is, but this radio, or this video, is not about this radio. This video is about shortwave in general and AM radio in general, and how, if you think it's dead, I think it's probably just equipment or antennas that are just not doing the trick for you. Yeah, we've gone all the way back around. So that'll do it, my friends. Y'all have a great night and take care.